Hey, what's up? It's Autumn. This is just a thought. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. So, I have a guest today, and I'm going to read his bio that I had to make up. I'm telling on you this morning because he didn't send me his bio. That's how we start now. That's how we start now
Yes,
immediately this morning.
go
Um,
ahead.
so I'm gonna read you his bio because I want you to know how amazing he is. And I know it's not going to be completely all the things, but it's going to be the stuff that I feel like is important to me and that's relevant to this conversation. But I also, at the same time, I'm sure we'll get into some other things. So this is my good friend, Dennis Spence. He is a man of God, of wisdom and creativity. He's an engineer by trade, which I think is hugely important because it means he's got a problem solver brain. And today we're going to try to solve some of these problems. So I'm excited about seeing how his mind is going to work in this space, not just for me, but for all of you as well. He is a devoted husband and a father to my niece, who I love. Okay, so she's not my niece by blood, but you know how Black people do.
Indeed.
She's my niece because we community. So there's that. He is a poet, amazing poet, and in fact, I want us to make sure that we plug what me some of your upcoming things that you're about to do because we want people to show up and turn out and all the things, be supportive. But he is a dear friend of mine. And I'm excited to have him today, and I'm excited to talk about all the things that we're going to get into. I think this is going to be eye opening for a lot of people. So I'm excited. Hi, Dennis. Hi, friend.
What's going on? How are you?
Good, good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for agreeing to be on with me and for having this conversation because I think it's really important. Today our conversation is really going to be centered around all the things that you are, right? An incredible Black man, strong Black man. Let me be clear, right?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Leading his family with integrity and with love and with faith. And I think that that is so important, especially in this day and age. We have so many things that are going on in our community, so many things that are going on in family, with education, just all this stuff, right? And I think it really ties back to a cornerstone. But we gonna get into that a little bit too.
Absolutely.
But you are all those things, and so I'm looking forward to hearing your perspective on where we are, how we are, and how we get to where we want to be. You're doing it successfully. So who better to ask than somebody who is walking in that space? So I just want to get us started a little bit by first asking this question: What is do you think, in your opinion, biggest threat to the Black community?
Uh,
Right, right.
you said the biggest
I
threat.
know.
That's,
Yeah, listen, because I feel like this starts the whole conversation like in the direction because there's a lot going on.
yeah. Because there's a lot of threats going on to the
Hmm.
community. Um, I would say one of the biggest things, and you don't want to sound like so cliche and just say the easy stuff, but sometimes too, the easy stuff is what you really got to like dig deep into.
Right,
It's a
right.
lot of it. It's easy. I could just easily say love. I mean,
Okay,
love for one, because
that's good.
with a lot of the things that you see happening, especially in society, that are turning us against each other,
Mm,
that are putting these huge boundaries in between men and women,
mm.
things that are, separating us further, things that are dividing us, things that are dividing our families. It's when you see that lack of love, and then you tear it down to that lack of compassion. You tear it down to the lack of communication. We don't talk like that,
Right.
especially even with generational things that are happening. Like, we're still learning how to really love each other.
Yeah, yeah.
My parents and your parents, they raised us the best they could, and it
Hmm.
was it was effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yet we are sitting here raising our kids differently because
Yeah.
we have to adjust accordingly to how society is wanting us to, raise our kids. There's certain things that happen to us that we can't do today, you know, and,
Listen,
and
listen. There's some things that are happening. Don't think these kids ain't getting this business over here.
Oh, indeed, indeed, absolutely, absolutely.
Because it's necessary. You can
Yeah,
see those who are not. It shows.
it really, and that's the thing. It really does. It shows, and that's what's causing the divide. So I'm gonna use some engineering terms on this one. So of course,
Okay.
when things happen over time, like especially from the standpoint of exponential, like exponential growth or
Yeah.
exponential decay,
Right.
it's like you notice that every year or every generation, like the gap is just getting significantly more and more and more separated.
Right. Right.
So some things it's just hard to bounce back from.
So it's interesting because you said something that I think was so good. You started off there, and I'm like, oh my God. You said the thing that the biggest threat is love, right? The lack of love. And that can go in so many different directions, right? We can say love for our neighbor, love for each other, men and women, right? In
Yeah,
marriages and things like that. I love for God because
absolutely,
Lord, I think
absolutely.
there's an absolute lack of faith. That was something that used to be the cornerstone, I think, of our communities between marriage and God. And those are the things that kept us grounded, right? And accountable to each other, uh, within the home and outside of the home. And those things are starting to go away. And again, it shows. So
Hmm.
for me, what I think is huge personally, and you could tell me if you think the same, and I'm gonna give you a statistic before I start.
Okay.
Black marriages, right? So just, black man, black woman married, right? We are at 34%, 34% of black marriages are between a black man and a black woman, right? Only
Hmm.
34%. I think it's somewhere upwards of like 70 something percent of black women are single, and 60 something, 69 or something like that percent of black men are single, which is crazy work.
Yeah.
And that if this trend continues by like 2030 or something like that, like within the next five, or we'll say next 5 to 10 years, because I don't know exactly, that black marriages will be in the single digits. Okay. So that's crazy.
It is. It is.
Scary. And I don't think that people recognize like how important and foundational marriage is in so many ways, right? So we go to community, children, wealth.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. There's so many ways that you can capitalize off of it, and I mean, if you even just kind of look at some of the, let's say, the social standings, the
Mhm.
socioeconomic standings of other ethnicities,
Right.
and it kind of shows why, some of the richest, ethnicities, like a lot of them, they stay together.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of, some of our Hispanic brothers and sisters, a lot of them are together
Yeah.
and in families, their family is very, very important to them. A lot of our Asian brothers and sisters, like family is super important. Like
Yeah.
that stuff is the very critical to keeping everything together. And
Right.
like you said, when you keep it all in the family, some things such as, how often do you hear black folks talk about, yeah, we got land. My great uncle had, he's got 8 acres, and it's been
Right.
in the family for, 2 or 3 generations. Like, you never hear that about
Right.
us.
Right.
We don't really grasp the concept of really holding on to things of value and assets.
Right.
Some of the stuff that we're not even taught, that we could be taught in the household, things such as, stewardship, how to even just, budget your money. Just, that's one thing. So, we're talking with our daughter right now. Just all she wants to do is spend the money and give it away. It's like, no, baby, no. How about this? How about you take this much of your money, save it in your piggy bank, and then you can
Right.
take this much of your money. You can get some bubble gum, you know, because it's gonna grow to the when where bubble gum turns into clothes, then
Right.
clothes turns into cars, and
Right.
you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, right? Those habits. We build
Mhm.
good or bad habits in one direction or the other. One thing somebody taught me, and this came out because I don't even think that my parents really taught me about how to manage my money. It was trial and error. And when I say error,
Yeah, yeah.
there there was some error. Uh, but somebody told me, like, the church always talks to you about tithing, right? And so there's the 10%. Now I knew that I didn't grow up in the church, but by the time I got to the church, like I knew and understood that.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't, what I didn't know, and it was actually, I think, maybe Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
I took his financial university class, which is really good. And he talked about, pay yourself a tenth as well, right?
Yes.
God first, then you, and then your bills, and every dollar should have an assignment. And I was
Yes.
like, oh my God, right? Because the idea of paying myself, and I think we don't do that, right? If that's the savings that you're talking about. Put something away for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's what caused us to be like, I don't want to use the term reckless, but that's the thing is
I mean,
when
you can use it. You're not wrong.
I know there's this desperation that we have
Mm,
where, so a lot of us, especially, a lot of us as Black people, all we know is grind.
yeah.
I'm going to grind. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get this money, and I'm going to do with it what I must.
Right.
So when all you know is pay the bills, when all you know is survival mode,
Yeah.
right? And then the moment you have a little bit of surplus and all you've ever known is survival mode, and the moment you have a little bit of surplus, you are going to run wild with it.
Losing your mind.
Yeah. And then literally the next week you have nothing.
Right. But you got a grill,
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
gold chain.
Yeah, you was up there in the club popping bottles, and now and you put it on the gram, and everybody knows, oh, you doing it big. They're proud of youngster right there. I'm proud of nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Nephew is not doing it.
Nephew is broke.
Yeah, yeah, and that right there, that's the sad part. We
Yeah.
weren't really taught that. Hey, take this here, put it over there. Take this here, put it over here, and take this. You can spend this.
Yeah.
You can spend this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Which that I think that gets into a whole nother topic about mindset, right? Like where that comes from, this the scarcity mentality. And I think that
Yeah.
that is much bigger because something that has been ingrained in us since, coming to this country, quite honestly. Um,
We've had that talk with some of my parents and my
yeah.
in-laws, where you can tell them, it's like, hey, where they grew up learning that you hold on to everything.
Mm,
You hold on to everything. And the thing is, my dad grew up like that. Like, he didn't throw stuff away.
mm,
You just never know.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, when you finally get to that point where you're doing better with your money, you're doing better with your stewardship, and your your salary changes, your mindset has to change with it, because here
Yeah.
you are
That's
with the
good.
scarcity mentality. It's like, hey man, those jeans got holes in them. You can get new jeans, okay? It's like,
So
come
we
on.
got we got opposite ends of the spectrum. We got people who are spending recklessly. We got people who are scared to spend. It's like we need to heal and get somewhere in the middle. We got some balance here.
Yes. And that is where, like, it all falls back into community
Yeah.
and love. This is why the thing is, we have to come together, and so we can, sit down with our elders and learn things. And
Mm,
then the elders can sit down with our young people and learn more innovative things.
yeah.
Like I tie all of that into love. Just spending time in that space. Like, we don't do that anymore. Remember when we were young, we used to sit down in the living room with my mom and papa
Right.
and auntie and them, like, everybody sat together and
Right.
talked and discussed things, even if the TV was on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
how often do you see that anymore? Like, the kids over here with their cell phones on, parents over here with, and their iPads, whatever, and
Right.
everybody is
In
zoned out.
different directions. So here's a question for you.
Okay.
Why do you think that we're not getting married anymore?
For one, I will say I believe that everybody, we're getting into a more selfish society. We're becoming more and more selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because I do believe some people, you really want to protect your peace. Okay. You may have gone through some things, experienced some things, and you just know, like, you know what? I need this. That is not necessarily for me.
Okay, can we just pause right there for a second?
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make clear because I am really getting in a space, and this is not you. I know that you don't mean this. And that's why I say I'm really getting a space where I'm really getting um, tired of hearing men say, I'm not getting in a relationship. I'm not getting married because I'm trying to protect my peace. And what they really mean, because it doesn't mean that they not out here in these streets doing the most.
Mm-hmm.
What they really mean is by peace, I'm avoiding conflict. I'm avoiding accountability. I'm avoiding responsibility. I'm avoiding commitment. I'm avoiding honesty and transparency, right? I'm avoiding the responsibility of having to show up for somebody else, to not be selfish, to put somebody else first, to put the work and time and effort and energy into somebody. And that's what I'm calling peace, which is not peace. It's
Correct.
lazy.
Yes.
It is like, right. It's literally just you avoidance. That's what
Mhm.
is avoidance. So I think the piece that you are talking about is piece of boundary setting and right. So I just want to be clear because I just feel like that has been used as turned into this thing that sounds good, but
Yeah.
it's really just like work.
Even the thing is like, and especially too when I can say I believe this as a married man too. When I say my peace, I feel like it's more so of a tangible thing that
Mm,
we're seeking, okay?
yeah.
And that thing can change. So let's say if let's say you just graduated, whether it's with a degree or a master's degree, and the thing right now, what your peace needs to be is establishing yourself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, if you are a hardworking man, and let's say you work hard every day and you work crazy hours and you're married, right now your peace, and this is what I call my peace, is my wife.
Okay.
When I
Yeah.
come home, my, I don't, when I say I can't wait to get home, I'm not mean, I don't mean the building. I don't mean the
Right.
edifice. I
Right.
mean the woman that is there waiting for me. That,
Hey.
that's my peace right there. Okay. I know I have somewhere where I can just lay my head and y'all can do that magic y'all do where y'all just put your hands in the back of my seat. It's magical. It
You're
is.
not wrong.
And
You're not
it's,
wrong.
yeah, yeah. It just, everything just melts.
That's God inspired, by the way.
Indeed, indeed. But like I'm noticing more people like not getting married because I feel like our some of our intentions are just kind of going in different directions. As
Yeah.
you're noticing like more women as they're getting older, more women are becoming more and more successful in like a
Yeah.
major way. I feel like and don't quote me on this, but I believe like Black women, they're probably the most educated group
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in the country, especially when it comes to your master's degrees, your
Right.
doctor's degrees,
Right.
and college graduates were total. But they want to establish themselves, and when they become established and successful, some of them, that's when they start seeking marriage.
Right.
And then we have like some of my brothers, and we want to. I'm not gonna put all of my brothers in this category, but
Yeah.
I've been noticing this more. We want to play our games when we're young. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy life, right?
What you talking about young? There's some men in their 40s still trying to be cute. So
But
there's
this, but this, but this is the thing too. You're right. But as some men get older, we start hitting that bracket of late 30s,
yeah.
40s, and all of a sudden, then we get inspired.
Right.
Then we want to find ourselves, or then we notice our superpower,
Right.
whatever it may be, and
Right.
then we get hyper focused on that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh dang, brother, you going after it, and it's like, yeah, I don't have time for anything else. So
Mm-hmm. Those
then
things are peace.
yeah, yeah. So they
Yeah.
just they don't even my brothers don't even go for marriage anymore because you're just focused on that one thing. You're
Yeah.
doing you, and some of my ladies are just tired of dealing with like some dumb stuff here and there. And I've been some of my friends have been sharing stuff they've seen on like these dating sites, and it's scary.
It is wild out here in these streets. Let me just be clear. Like, wow. It's really disheartening on so many levels. Like just unbelievably wild. Some of the things and both, what I mean, it's not just men, it's not just women, it's literally in both directions. You said something that was really interesting too, that I think, because I know we kind of talking about Black men, this from the perspective of Black men, which I really truly appreciate. I do want to give a perspective of the other side of that, or because it's both of us coming together, right? And so you talked about Black women becoming very successful, and I think that you see a lot of Black women who are successful who are single, and for reason. And I want to give some perspective to that. I think that, to me, in my opinion, two reasons. One is that sometimes the things that the characteristics or the traits that are necessary to become successful, right? That grind and hustle mentality, that strong leadership, decision making, and this is not me saying that, right? These are not anything bad at all, right? That hyper focus, prioritization of work, excellence, being present, what I mean, just that kind of thing. That having a commanding presence, that those things sometimes don't get turned off, and they show up in the relationship, which can become very difficult to have a ebb and flow, just balanced relationship when you're dealing with a man, and he's bringing masculine energy and you're bringing feminine energy, and you guys are kind of like riffing off each other and showing up and playing your role in that relationship. That can be really difficult if you're bringing these traits that you're used to in this space does not always translate into success in a different space. So I think that it becomes almost unconscious because women are doing it. And I put myself in that category, right? Something that I've had to work on, that we as Black women, that becomes like second nature. And so we're just operating like that all the time. And it's like, that's not necessarily attractive, right? The second thing I think is that because women in general, not just Black women, but women tend to date and marry equal and up versus equal and down. And again, this is not negative, but just saying, so equal and up, you're talking about education, resources, all the things. And so the more educated, the more successful, the more accomplished she becomes, the smaller that like side and up becomes, right?
Yep.
Her options, not her real options, because there's options all over the place, right? Like you can go outside and spit hit a dude, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but the ones that she's like open to dating or whatever, or feels comfortable dating, or however you want to put it, that window that becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And so in her mind, she's like, oh my God, I only have like this amount of men that I could choose from.
Yeah.
You have other men, but this is the only ones that I'm really like feeling like are viable options for me. But the problem is that you and every other successful Black woman, to your point, right, we becoming the most successful, the most educated. You and every other Black woman is fighting for this small pool of dudes, right? Which I think keeps men from committing, because if you in this pool, if this you in this bucket, in this boat, you got 9 million options, and therein lies the problem.
We know it.
Therein lies the problem.
and some of my brothers expose this notion tremendously. And I think that is where you have that little category right there that just knows that, you know what, I got options. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be as slow with my decisions as possible. I'm going to put my toe in every pool until, I feel one that's nice enough that I could jump in. And then I'll decide whether I want to swim or not. I'm going to just float for a little bit. And that's the problem. I'm going to jump in this pool, float a little bit, and then decide if I want to swim.
Right.
Because if I don't want to swim, I'm just going to get out.
Right.
And start dipping my toes back in.
Listen, meanwhile, you polluting the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
dirtying up the water, sir.
And that's the thing, is like, you're dirtying up the water so that the water for the next guy to come is just like, I don't know, that water looks a little grimy. When in actuality,
okay, I'm gonna say something that's real crazy. This probably wasn't your experience as a kid, but mine. So my grand, like they would fill up the tub, and it would be like all the grandkids got to take a shower
Yep.
or take a bath, and then but they wouldn't empty the tub, so it was like one get in, take a bath, and the next one got to get in, take a bath. But if you was the youngest,
Uh, they put you in that bathtub and you disappear.
by the
Just
time you got the
disappear.
there's no point. I might as well just stay dirty
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
washing in dirt, and that's to your point. That's exactly how it feels
hmm
when everybody's kind of getting in here just floating.
and the thing, and then on the other side, I believe that women are recognizing that somewhat,
Mm,
where there's like, nah, bruh, don't even put your little toe in this pool if you're
yeah,
just gonna, jump in and dirty the water
yeah,
because, I think some women are recognizing that. So that's what's causing the further rift where you got
yeah.
guys like, oh well, she got baggage. It's like, well, can you blame her? Can you blame her? You know?
Right, right. So it's yeah, we got a lot of work to do. But to that point, because I feel like you agree with me on this, that where we start is faith, is God. And so I know that you are leading your life and your family through faith. And I'm just curious to know, how big a role does that play? Like, what does that look like for you and how you are showing up?
So it plays a huge role.
Mhm.
First and foremost, it starts with me.
Mm,
I believe that, I've been given that assignment as head of household. I
mm,
am the head, but
mm,
at the same time, I do realize and recognize my wife is the neck.
mm.
Okay. So the head is nothing without the neck.
Right,
And
right,
and the neck turns the head and directs it and guides it. But me being the head, like I started off first, and I will tell you every day, almost pretty much every week, I am the first one to get up in the morning.
mm,
Always. And usually, it's prayer. I pray over my
yeah,
family. I pray over my day. I pray over my family's day. I start out with scripture to quote, um, because I believe in that and speaking my word.
right,
So that's the thing is the importance of establishing and make sure your household is covered and protected and trusting and believing that. Also ensuring that when it comes to protecting your household, that it's one thing to protect your household physically, but it's another thing when you got to protect your household spiritually. When you have to be mindful of what is coming through your door.
that
Okay,
is so good.
like if yeah, people talk about like vibes, and
Yeah,
oh, and I wasn't really feeling their vibe, or I wasn't really, good vibe. I wasn't getting good vibes from them. It's like, trust that. It's
right,
probably true.
right,
Like there are spirits that can jump off of others and onto you and onto your family. Just the communication aspect between the husband and the wife to make sure that you all are not just prayed up, but you're prayed up together.
right,
So the thing is, if I have a wild day at work, right? Or if my wife has a wild day at work, and then we come home and we start really, really projecting that energy
right,
into the rest of the household to the point where all of a sudden everybody else in the household is uncomfortable and not responding correctly, normally how they usually. That's when you have to say, okay, pause. We need to fix that
right, right,
and right now. Okay. And, there's been times where, I've like when my wife has had a bad day, or she's like really expressing how she's feeling, and she's really not getting anywhere with it. And I can sense her frustration. And that's where you just kind of have to step in and say, okay, I want you to recognize, okay, what you're trying to accomplish. And I want you to recognize what God wants you to accomplish for the sake of
mm,
your purpose. So the
right,
thing is, when you are trying to accomplish things for your purpose, and you notice little stupid things popping up here and there, it's like be mindful of when like the enemy is trying to just get you distracted. You
right,
know,
right,
like I know we sometimes we give the enemy too much credit for stuff. It's like, nah, that wasn't the devil. That was just you. Okay, like don't even bring the devil into it. Like
right.
like
That's
that
you
was
being
you.
wild. Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you know. But like, there's times when I gotta say, hey, I want you to understand what you're trying to do is for your purpose. Like,
Um,
realize that you're walking in your purpose, and when you got these little side distractions happen, I want you to be mindful of that. Like we talk so much about discernment and how crucial it is to
Yeah.
ensure that you are staying on the path that you are meant to be on. And so this way, when distractions come and little things here and there that knock you off, you can nip them in the butt, because it's just like a snowball effect. If you
Right.
let that
Right.
snowball keep rolling, it's going to get massive, and then you can't stop it, you
Right.
know? Or you
Right.
got to say, hey, hey, and you know, sometimes it does turn into an argument every now and then, but it's like, hey, sit your behind down.
Sometimes we need to hear that. Sometimes we need to hear that.
This is what we're going to do, okay?
So
And you have to, you know, encourage each other in that aspect. It's like a tough encouragement into each
yeah,
other. Like my
it's
wife does it to
leadership.
me too. She
It's
does it to me
leadership.
too. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think it. So you said a couple things that I think were really good, and I just want to, highlight again. One, you gave a definition of protection that goes beyond physical protection, and that is so good, especially in this day and age where men and women are really struggling to define what does it mean to be a man.
Mhm.
Society is constantly evolving and changing. That used to be really obvious. Oh, we protect the village, we go out and plunder, whatever, all those kinds of things. And now that's not really the case anymore, right? But so what does protection look like? And I think you're absolutely correct. Protection is about being that gatekeeper of your home and what is coming in and out of there. And so men have a responsibility to that. And I think that that is huge. Women also have a responsibility to get on board with that as well, right? It only works if you work it together. So
Yes.
there's that. But I will say this is that it feels like marriage is very much on the enemy's radar of things that he attacks, right? Which
Yeah.
he only attacks things that are powerful, that are purposeful, that are important to not only the individual but to the global plan, right?
Absolutely.
The bigger plan of things. And so, when you talked about purpose and individual purpose, and you guys really kind of, you as the husband or the head of the household, really reminding your wife about her purpose. But I think even beyond that, right? Like the two of you realizing that being married and staying together is purpose, is a strong, powerful purpose that plays into the bigger picture of what God is doing, in the earth. So my question, or I just want, if you can expand on this a little bit more, is how are you constantly sort of reminding yourself, even when things get tough or things get, because let's be real, like I've been married before as well, right?
Mhm.
I'm not married currently, but these are life lessons. We talk about that another time.
Indeed, indeed.
But how do you remind yourself when you ain't feeling it? That this is bigger than this moment. This is bigger than you, and it's worth fighting for. How do you remind yourself about purpose in that?
There's a couple things for me, and like my wife and I think we have it a little easier in the aspect that both of us grew up in households with
Mm,
both parents,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And both of
Everybody
our,
didn't grow up like that, Dennis.
you're right, exactly. That's why I feel like we have it easy, you know?
Yeah.
Not only do I know both, did I know both of my parents, right?
Yeah.
I knew and saw all four of my grandparents, okay?
Well, okay.
And so did my wife, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen.
So like we've seen it, you
Right.
know. But you know the thing in that instance is where, you know, besides that, I will tell you, like, I am stupidly in love with my wife. Okay. I tell her all
Oh,
the time. I was like, yo, like, you ain't going nowhere for real. Like, you stuck with me, and like that's just what it is. I I never want to be without her.
yeah.
And like I mean that's one of the things. When I have days where I'm not feeling it, you know, I try to be mindful of, okay, what is she dealing with right now? Okay. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? Okay.
Mm,
Especially from a standpoint, we sit down and we do things like we write our goals out, you
yeah.
know, and we make them visible.
Right.
So I always keep that in mind. I make sure that as the husband, I try to be the most farsighted one of
Right. Right.
family,
Right.
so that this way I can always be mindful. Um, if anybody in the house breaks, then we can say, "Hey, remember this?
Remember this.
Remember what we're working towards? This is what we're trying to accomplish. Remember that? This is what we're working on, and nothing's gonna stop that. Like,
Right.
it's happening. It's going to happen. Okay. So I suggest, and this is how my wife and I we talk to each other like this sometimes, which is another thing we do got to talk about too, is communication. But my
Right.
wife and I, we talk to each other like, I know you're going through such and so, and we got you. But
Yeah, that's
I need
important.
for you to understand this is going to happen, and it's going to
Mm.
be for the betterment of our family and for the purpose that we are heading towards. You
Right.
know, so
That's
it's
good. That's good. So I hear you saying, as the head of your household, right, that you are protecting, that you are creating vision, that you are reminding about vision, that you are holding yourself and each other accountable to the things that you guys, the purpose and the plan that you have set, right? These are just like all, because I think, again, people just don't know in real life application, what does that look like? We hear very generic terms, provide and protect, right? But what does that mean? What does that actually look like day to day? So I'm really thankful and glad that you're giving like these real everyday tangible like examples of how that's showing up so that people understand that's the expectation. Like that's what that looks like, you know?
and then don't get it twisted. Like, I am a great listener,
Mm,
because a lot of the ideas and the things that we are looking to accomplish, like my wife, they were my wife's ideas. Like
mm,
a lot of things, my wife, she'll say, "Hey, you know what? I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this, and like I was thinking maybe this could be something we could pray about."
right,
And it's like, yeah. And we talk about that. And then, it's almost like I take over the idea, and then I make sure that, okay, let's do this. Let's
right,
let's
right,
let's let's work the plan,
right.
when in reality, like, the plan was made by my wife,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't want you to think like it's just all me. It's really not. It's really
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I of course know both of y'all, so I know that it's not all you, and I know it's not all her, right? Like you guys are an incredible team.
Yeah.
But I think I also want to be clear, and I'm glad. I thank you again for your honesty and your transparency because a lot of men seem to shy away from some of those saying and doing, walking in some of those harder spaces and acknowledging the reality of certain things, right? Marriage, it's almost like we are scared to talk about head of household now. We're scared to say somebody got to be the head and the leader. It's like nobody is oppressing
Yeah.
anyone,
Yeah.
right? There's got to be order. Otherwise, if everybody's doing their own thing, it's chaos. We're moving in different directions, right? We cannot be afraid to say the things that actually make this work. You
Yeah.
know, I was talking to a friend of mine, a friend of mine, and he was asking me about um, my thoughts on the structure of marriage, and I said, well, I look at it like a company, quite honestly, right? You have a CEO, you have a board of directors, and you have the employees.
Uh-huh.
And the CEO is the husband or the man, board of directors, wife, and employees are the kids.
Uh-huh. The
Look,
labor.
right? Yeah, exactly. Go get me the remote. Why
Yeah.
are you sitting right next to it? Because um, earn your keep.
Uh,
No, but like in that relationship, right? There's already an established agreement that you and I may not always agree. Sometimes the board and the CEO are moving in the same direction
uh-huh.
and life is amazing. But sometimes the board thinks we should go one way and the CEO thinks we should go a different way. Before we get into that scenario, it has to already be decided when the two don't come, who gets the final say, right? Like which one of us gets the final? We have to establish and agree on that before we get in that scenario. And the problem is people don't do that. They don't establish that. It's like everybody got to be all, diplomacy all the time. Diplomacy all the time don't work. Sometimes it's we doing this, period, point blank. And so saying that the husband, the man of the house, he gets the final say is not oppressive. Like somebody has to.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't it be him?
And I think that also goes with the establishment of communication, because I feel like too. So I feel like I am the vision is mine. Okay. The vision is mine. I speak forward. Okay. Yet my wife is the peripheral vision.
Right.
Which I feel is some of the most important.
That's good.
Vision. She sees everything coming from the side and the things that could be coming to just, knock us off course.
Right.
And my wife has told me many a time, she's like, I'll follow you as long as it's not off a cliff.
Right.
And she'll stay.
Boundaries.
Yeah. She's told me many times to my face, you can go off that bridge by yourself.
Right.
Right. But like I love that is the fact that, my wife, if she doesn't necessarily agree with me, okay, she will give me all of the facts of my peripheral vision. Well, is this, is this, is this, is this, is this, is this. And then she lets me make the decision. Right. And the thing is, the cool part about it is if I move forward with it, right, and I'm wrong, she lets me come back. And that's when she says,
not giving you the...
Yeah. Now, what did you learn?
Okay, listen, but that's wisdom. I need to have your wife on here. That's wisdom, because so many women want to just jump ahead and be like, that's stupid. That's this, that, don't do that. We're not doing it. And sometimes people got to learn by experience.
Yes. My wife lets me make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Listen, but lets you with grace and with love and support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as it's not taking us off a cliff.
Right.
Right. If there's been times where she's just like, I don't think we should do that. Like, really, I do not feel comfortable with us doing that.
Right.
And that's something like, I got you. She'll speak up, and overrule. But she lets me come back with love and grace. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say one final thing to that, and then I want to talk about you and your creativity and your poetry, because I think that's huge and important. So I think that the marriage that you're talking about, I don't think that men are going to hear that and have a problem with anything that you're saying or that I'm saying, right? I think that women are going, potentially some women that will hear it and be like, you know what I mean, and have a issue with that. Here's my rebuttal to that piece is that if you are struggling to get behind a man, to allow a man to operate in this way, right? If you're struggling to do that, it's less about the structure being wrong or the idea or the setup being wrong, and more about maybe you picked the wrong person. Yeah, that was going to be my response. I would say, why did you marry him?
Why would you marry a dude that you can't follow? Why would you marry a dude that you can't trust? Why would you marry a dude that you can't get behind? Like, that's your problem. It's not that the idea of leadership or submission or any of those things is a bad idea in and of itself. Is that you got two people in those spaces that just... Okay. So there's that. Okay, moving on. All right. Poetry.
Okay.
My brother got a gift. He got a whole entire gift. And so I'm curious on how is your poetry helping you to express who you are, and how is your wife helping to support you in your creativity?
Well, so I've been writing since high school.
Okay.
And the cool thing is I've known my wife since middle school. Okay. Yeah. So she's always known about this.
Right.
She's always known about this. And she's seen it at its peak. She's seen it when it's got out of hand. She's seen it like
out of hand. Wait, listen, what do you mean by out of hand? You mean like the topic, the material?
When I was in
I
college,
know that part.
When I was in college, I was reckless. I'll say that I was reckless, and my wife will tell you that. that I was reckless with my poetry and I used it to my advantage. So yeah, that's
Okay, you charlatan. You was
you know,
you was out here with your snake oil. Okay, I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. How, but she has seen this world become a part of me.
Yeah,
She actually she'll tell you, she say, well, that is your world, because she's seen how I am very into my creative side.
yeah,
And when I get around other creatives, I get a little different. I think a little different. I
mm,
tend to speak a little different, because just when you're around people that are inspirational to you, they kind of stir your thinking
yeah.
a
Right.
little bit. And the cool thing about it is my wife supports that, because she understands that is what is important to me. Even if she can't always understand everything of it,
Right.
she'll
Right.
she'll say, it's like, what, like, I know that's your thing, and even though I may not be able to like understand all of it, I know that's what is important to you. And she lets me have that part of my world,
Right.
and the best thing that she does is the fact that even if she knows that she can't always be a part of that world, she knows to still sprinkle that encouragement on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, definitely take advantage of that opportunity. You should
Right.
do that because you don't know where it might lead to. Or,
Right.
yes, you should do that because like that sounds like it could be something that could, be profitable, that could benefit the family,
Right.
and
Right.
that's what that there's that peripheral vision. She sees, hey, if he does that, it could bring in some more money to help us.
Right.
So,
Right.
she supports it from a fiscal standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Um, and that's the thing. It's another thing. Not only does she affirm what I do in my creativity, but she challenges me. And that is the one thing that it can be difficult at times, because especially as a man, we have our egos are
Right.
frail. But my wife will challenge me. Like I will, tell
Now,
her
what does
about
that
like,
look like?
so there may be something or some type of speaking engagement
Hmm.
happening, and there could possibly be a particular type of audience that is there, and or there may be a particular type of audience that is expecting a different type of message, a
Right.
message that I may not want to relate. I may want to stay authentic or stay true to who I am, and that's what she'll say. Well, be authentic,
Okay.
don't be afraid to ruffle feathers,
Right.
because
Right. Right.
as an artist, you have your singers, you have your poets, you have your comedians, you
Um,
have your painters or your dancers. There are times where your art will challenge whatever's being said out in
right.
society, where you will challenge others' thoughts and thinking. And she challenged me. So she says, "Hey, be authentic. Do you? If you ruffle feathers, so be it." It
Listen,
needed to
the
be
truth is
heard.
confrontational.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, and while she says it too, she is still uplifting about it. She'll challenge me, and she'll be direct. My wife can be
Right.
very direct, but she'll be still uplifting with it. Like, you really need to do that, and
Right.
I believe in you.
Right. Right.
So things that I may be a little scared to do, that's where she'll come in and say, "What you scared about? Nah, dude, this is what you do. So
Right.
go do it.
Right.
Get out there and do it."
Right. What I love personally, because art and creativity is quite honestly vulnerability. I think it's one of the most beautiful things because it's an expression of everything that is you, right? Your
Hmm.
values, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, all those things. And so I understand why people struggle to be creative, to operate in an artistic space, because it is so revealing to
Yeah.
like who and what you are and your journey and all the different things. So if you were speaking not to me, but to men in the world, Black men in the world, what would you say to help encourage them to step into a creative space when that is, like a barrier?
The first thing that I would say is to, for one, choose to get your mind to a place where you can become uncomfortable, where you can become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will have to surround yourself with people in that space that think that way.
Mm,
And people in that space may challenge you to be transparent. Okay. They will challenge you to literally be naked.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that. You have to learn how to be comfortable with that discomfort.
Yeah.
And once you get to that point where, for one, you have the support of your tribe and you are becoming more comfortable within your discomfort, then you can really step out there and do it. And sometimes, it takes, when you don't have your tribe, you don't have that group of supporters, sometimes you have to literally just throw yourself out there in the deep end.
Mm. Okay.
And, it's,
We going for a swim.
yeah, you got to. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
to. Because once you're out there, you will realize, man, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
This wasn't that bad. You'll realize there are many more people out there thinking the exact same way. You, as the artist, we are the modern day philosophers, and we are pretty much saying what a lot of people are already thinking.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And
Indeed.
yeah, if you become so caught up in, well, I don't know if we're going to, nah, get out there and say it.
Right.
Get out there and say it.
Right. And if you don't, who will? Right. So
Exactly.
there's that. There's that. Is anything that you got coming up?
So we have a couple of things coming up.
Oh.
Pretty much. So on, I will say on March 20th,
Mm-hmm.
I will be performing with the Opera Delaware Company at the Grand Opera House in Wilmington
I'm
for a
excited.
Divine Night in Delaware. And I'm excited about that. It is a plethora. It's almost like a Super Bowl to me. It's a
Hey.
plethora of the arts. Indeed, indeed. We
You're
got
right.
ballet, poetry, opera, neo soul,
All the things.
hip hop, live instrumentation, all on one stage.
I was
And
there last year. Y'all was amazing.
yes, yes,
Y'all was amazing. You were amazing. I was like, oh my God, I know him.
thank you, thank you. So I've been working on I've been preparing on this since last year. I've been preparing my piece since last year, so I can be ready for March 20th. Yes, I'm going in.
It's gonna be all the things. Well, listen, let me get me a front. I'm getting there early. Let me get me a front row seat.
I suggest you do that. I suggest you do that. But we got that going on March 28th. My open mic is coming, the Love Suite.
Okay.
That's going to be in Dover at Vision to Venue in Dover, Delaware. We have one of our awesome features coming up, a good friend of yours,
Yes, love
Miss
her.
Leah Brown. She will be our featured poet. I'm excited about that. We are really trying to grow and expand the arts in Dover because
Yeah.
it's a little non-existent, but it's on the come up. It's
We
on the come
coming,
up.
we coming, we coming.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And by we, look, and by we, I don't mean me because I'm not, but I'm saying y'all,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm showing up. I'm coming to show up and support. There's that.
indeed. And we appreciate. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the feedback that we've been getting for the Love Suite.
Um,
Um, and it's just a dope vibe. We want to just expand, the art form, and it's just
mhm.
increase the knowledge of love, so that
Yeah.
everybody feels it.
Absolutely. Okay. This is the fun. First of all, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
An incredible conversation, so filled with just gems and wisdom and experience and all the things. And I know that you have been a blessing to me. So you made me think about some things, and you know what? And it's given me hope
Mm.
for what is possible, what exists, and what is real in the world. Sometimes when all you see is buffoonery.
Yeah, yeah. We can call it some other things. We can
Right, we
call it
can
some
or
other
some other
things.
things, right? It gets hard to remember that something else actually exists. And so thank you for being a reminder that something else actually exists. I want to close out by asking you, what is the most life-changing advice you've ever been given? I know I should have asked you this. I should have like sent it to you before, but I wanted to like
Yeah, yeah. I see. I see. One of the most life changing advice, I would say, trying to think of all the people that have given me different types of
Mhm.
advice. So, okay, I'm going to tell you what the advice was, and
Okay.
then I'm going to tell you how it impacted me real quick.
Okay.
So, my father, when I was in college and I was struggling, engineering degree, okay,
Right.
My father told me I was struggling because it was, it was tough. It was a challenge, and I was on academic probation at one point.
Okay.
Almost got kicked out of school.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. And my dad told me, he said, C's and D's get degrees too, right? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, bruh,
He's not wrong, but
like, get out of here. But when I really put it into perspective, okay, I put it into perspective, and it's been life changing for me. I no longer seek this uh, this desire to be perfect in everything I do. When I came out of high school, I was all about straight A's. It's got to be straight A's, and that's it. If it's not an A, it's not good.
right.
So, and then I get to college, and oh my gosh, I got a B. Oh my gosh, I got a C. Oh my gosh, I got an F. And I'm like tripping. I didn't know how to handle it. I did not know how to handle it. So now that I'm a grown man, I see that now. I see everything in that aspect. Okay, I'm going to do the very best that I can with what it is that I'm doing. Do it with greatness, and I'm going to do it with excellence.
Right.
However, I am not perfect. There's only one man that I know that's perfect.
Come on now. Say it. Say it.
And his name is Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay? So like I'm not him. Okay.
Right.
So what I'm not gonna do is kill myself trying to be.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna kill myself out here trying to be perfect to the point where you have to make sure that you can't move forward until you have dotted every I, crossed every T, because then here you are stuck.
Right. Right.
You're stuck in this situation, not moving forward, not moving at all. Because you're so perplexed on the idea that it has to be perfect.
Right.
And you don't even go anywhere. You don't even try. And that's something we're working with my daughter on. It's like she won't even try a thing if she's not amazing at it on the first try. It's like, nah, baby. C's and D's get degrees too. Okay? Okay.
Put it out there. Put it out there. Yeah. Yeah.
So I totally believe in working with excellence and working towards greatness. Yet I am all about basking in my imperfections.
Yeah, that's good.
And utilizing them, so that incorporating them into my superpower, so that that is a part of me. These imperfections are a part of me, and this is how I've gotten myself to where I am now.
Right. Right. That's good. Well, I like that. Okay, Dad, listen, coming through with the advice. Your parents be giving you advice sometimes that, like, on a surface, you like,
yeah, what?
What does that even mean? And then, life happens and it marinates a little bit, and you like, okay.
Yep.
How that just beautifully opened up.
The bad.
Oh my God. Well, thank you again, Dennis. This has been an incredible conversation. I hope that you will come back. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing week. Be blessed.